Once upon a time, I wanted to be Stephen A. Smith. Growing up, watching journalists on TV, black journalists specifically, it was just something that you didn't see a whole hell of a lot. And as someone who played sports and didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do afterwards, I know that I had such a love and such an affinity for sports that I knew that sports journalism was my thing. It was what I wanted to do. So that's what I pursued throughout undergrad and graduate school as well. But along the lines, and honestly, that's a character flaw of mine because Stuart Scott was on TV, John Saunders, the sports reporters. Those were the type of shows that I grew up on, and those were the shows that I watched. I think Stephen A. was just kind of thrust upon us. You know, when you watch Stuart Scott, it didn't feel forced. You could tell that Stuart Scott was being his unapologetic, authentic self. He wasn't talking loud. He wasn't boisterous. You know, he just integrated hip hop into his sports commentary. And I feel like that's what made people love him. But now I feel like Stephen A. Smith is just thrust upon us. He is always constantly in our faces. He has so many jobs on the network with ESPN. I mean, obviously he's their top talent, but just because he's a top talent doesn't mean that he's good at his job. And here he is now constantly talking about LeBron James still. He's entered the political aspect of things, and he's just giving wayward commentary about stuff that he's not even well versed in. Stephen A's thoughts and perspectives are simply based on capitalism. Money is what drives him. Money is what drives his commentary. It's not about him being his true and authentic self. Or his true and authentic self could just be someone who's, you know, money hungry, money driven, loves the attention that he gets because he's the top dog, he's the top guy at ESPN. So for some reason they're giving him single shot camera views when he's walking into the arenas with these peppermint suits on and purple suits on and, you know, all this type of stuff. But the bigger issue here is that once you give someone some authority or someone grows in their field, and specifically someone who looks like us, they feel like they have the latitude and the ability to speak on things that they aren't even well versed in. He might feel like he's a political talking head and he knows what's going on in politics, but oftentimes when you listen to those who are well versed in those arenas like Roland Martin and others who are actively doing the work and who have actively sat in on where these conversations and where the things that need to happen for communities are happening, you know, those are the thought leaders that we need to be listening to, not Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith continually shows that he has no pulse of what's going on in the community outside of what's going on in his particular tax bracket, I would say. Stephen A. Smith does not speak for us. He never has. And once he continues to grow and stuff like that, first of all, I hope no one is taking his political aspirations serious because he's just going to run the country into the ground even more than it already is. But you see someone's true colors when their tax bracket increases and they feel like, you know, I'm above reproach. Nobody can say anything to me. My views are the only views that matters in these certain conversations. And just because I have a voice, just because I have all these shows, just because I'm the face of ESPN, what I say goes, essentially. He's talking about LeBron James like he could do something to LeBron James. LeBron James also has a media company as well, Stephen A. So what are you going to do about his you know what I'm saying, his stature and where he stands at in society? I feel like so many times when it comes to us and those of us who are in positions of authority or positions of high rank, sometimes we tend to get out of our bodies and get out of ourselves. And while everyone has an opinion, everyone's opinion should not be placed on platforms, because then you go about misleading people and not caring about the consequences that comes along with that. So Stephen A is going to continually be in the news because he's a loud, boisterous person who believes that he has the ultimate say-so and his voice is louder than anyone else's. His voice is just a voice with no sustenance. That's my thoughts.